A new study by pollster Stan Greenberg, compiling focus groups and polling that he did, shows how working-class Trump voters in 2016 were duped by his healthcare message, and how some of them are straying from him in 2020 because of his lies about universal healthcare, something that Bernie Sanders made central to his campaign and wasn't lying about it. It shows how populist rhetoric works and how Bernie would wipe the floor with Trump in 2020, because Trump was lying with his populist rhetoric in 2016. I mean, listen to how much he sounded like Bernie. He was lying. But this is from 2016. He was promising universal healthcare coverage.
Everybody's got to be covered. This is an un-Republican thing for me to say, because a lot of times they say, no, the lower 25%, they can't afford private. But
universal healthcare.
I am going to take care of everybody. I don't care if it costs me votes or not. Everybody's going to be taken care of, much better than they're taken care of now.
The uninsured person?
Right.
Is going to be taken care of.
They're going to be taken care of.
How?
I would make a deal with existing hospitals to take care of people. And you know what? This is probably...
Make a deal. Who pays for it?
The government's going to pay for it, but we're going to save so much money on the other side.
The government would pay for it. That's what he said. That's universal government-run healthcare, dude. And it worked in a Republican primary and general election. Populism works. And then Trump was lying through his teeth. He came into office. He dismantled the Affordable Care Act. And millions of people, I think around 7 million people, lost their health insurance. And then in the pandemic, with mass unemployment, 5.2 million additional people lost their health insurance, because we're the genius country that ties healthcare and health insurance to having a job. But then the pandemic hits and everyone loses their job and they are getting sick and can't get healthcare. We are idiots. Actually, we're corrupt because the health insurance lobbyists and donors have completely bought off a majority of the Democratic Party and all of the Republican Party. This was an unprecedented opportunity to capitalize on the malaise felt by working-class Trump voters in 2016 who felt lied to about his promises of universal health care coverage. And then we have Joe Biden as the nominee, who's not talking about healthcare at all. He's talking about unity and love and flower power, or whatever the hell he's talking about. So Greenberg, in this American Prospect article, which I encourage everyone to read, he spoke with working class voters from 16 battleground states and conducted a survey. So it was a focus group mixed in with a survey, and this is what he found. 3/4 of the focus group voters supported Trump in 2016, but less than half plan to vote for him now. Even those who still supported him did not push back when other participants expressed anger with his doing nothing about health care, fostering hatred and racism, dividing the country, siding with the upper classes, and having no plan for COVID-19. This is a life and death issue for them as much as nearly any other group in American society. The same voters were still very cautious about Joe Biden, who seemed old and not very strong, but most importantly offered the prospect of only minor changes to the healthcare system and seemed unlikely to challenge the power of the top 1%. Oh, we could have had Bernie. Like lots of other working people, they are looking for a leader who will make big changes in healthcare, fight for working people over big business, and unite the country to defeat the current economic and public health crisis. In today's working class and rural communities, healthcare is everything. In introductory remarks, participants in the focus groups went right to the personal healthcare crises they were facing every day. My wife is disabled, said one man from Wisconsin. My daughter has 30% immune system left, so she's bouncing around from doctor to doctor. And the wife says, don't bring the pandemic home. Another Wisconsin man spoke of his terminally ill 7-year-old son. A woman in Maine explained how she nearly bled to death and had a $24,000 medical bill on my credit report for who knows how long. Discussion of the Affordable Care Act did not sound ideological, as they talked about their direct experience with insurance on the exchanges, which, in the words of one woman, costs a lot of money and doesn't pay for much of anything. The healthcare system is failing them, and they want someone to fix it. And Joe Biden's rhetoric has not been very reassuring that he would make big changes. He's been vague on healthcare, one woman from Wisconsin said. I want to know the specifics of what he'll do to make it better. Biden needs to run on healthcare right now. Right now in the middle of a pandemic. He needs to adjust his position on single payer and hammer it home. Healthcare for everybody. Healthcare for everybody. Trump said it and didn't even mean it. And it helped him. Biden could mean it. He could potentially be pushed in some sort of a direction. Running on strengthening the ACA is so politically stupid. It's convoluted. Nobody gets it. The ACA is unpopular because people still have to deal with their private insurance companies and they despise them. So this election could have been about healthcare in a pandemic. Medicare for all versus Trump ensuring that, no pun intended, millions of Americans lost their healthcare under his watch. That's what it could have been about. Instead, these voters who are desperate to vote for someone who's going to advocate for changes to the healthcare system are like, maybe Biden, I don't know, I'm not going to vote for Trump, but Biden's been vague on healthcare. There is not a more common sense issue to appeal to Americans than a single-payer healthcare system, and we have a Democratic nominee who said he would veto Medicare for all if it went to his desk. It's a massively missed opportunity, and I'll never get over it.